Good morning and welcome along to our Staying Well While Staying Home series. It's the collaboration between Siel, Bleu Ireland and the Irish Cancer Society. So really looking forward to bringing you today's workout. A little bit cooler than we had last week. Just a little check-in before we begin. Always just to participate only if you're feeling well on the day. Just not to participate if you're feeling unwell. If you experience any pain, discomfort during any movements, just to stop with the exercise. I have a good chair that I can use. I will leave most of the work in standing. I have my weights ready and I have a nice space to work out in. Drink of water, and that's pretty much everything I need for the session. So we'll go through a warm-up into some strength and cardiovascular work, and then into our cool down afterwards. So as we tip in towards 10 o'clock, probably a little bit cool, I think all around, not just in Dublin here today, I think it's cool everywhere. So let's begin and just get everyone moving first. So just start off getting the feet moving, marching on the spot. I should say also, any issue with the stream, it can happen on occasion. We will set up a new stream live on our YouTube channel. So in the event of any issue, I will set up a new stream. For now, we're just going to get those feet moving, just starting to warm the body up. As I perform that action, I'm going to start to get the shoulders involved. I'll show you this from the side. Just rolling the shoulders back. And then I'll pause, and now I want to change direction. So now I'll just roll the shoulders forward in circles. Again, just nice to check in there, just get a little bit of movement. We'll do a little bit more focus on the upper body, chest, and around the shoulders. Continuing to march. What I want to do is bring hands to my shoulders and just lightly start lifting one elbow at a time. If that feels okay, I want you now to progress and start lifting the two elbows together. Just directly in front, showing you that. About shoulder height. Now, if you keep those elbows elevated, I want you to take a step forward and open, and then through the opposite side. Nothing too harsh with the movement, just lightly opening up here. Just a step in front and opening of the arm. So elbow from front to side, and just lightly stepping forward into that movement. Now, if that feels okay, around chest, around the shoulders, I want to start opening the two elbows together. Again, just a nice light step forward, opening up those elbows. And once more, and relax the arms back down. Okay, now what I want to do is just bring the arms out and just begin rowing. So pulling back. I like to always just check in with the back. Pull back, squeeze, tuck the elbows in, just looking to get a nice connection with the back of the body. And all the time, just keeping those feet moving, warming ourselves up here. Okay, then let's go once more, and back in. Okay. Next, I will begin to tap the heels out in front. If that feels comfortable, just going to start bringing the arms in. Hands towards shoulders, just moving from the elbows and just guiding those heels out in front. Okay, and then just return, bring it back to march, taking the hands up. I'm going to step side to side and just a nice smooth press, pushing away out from chest. And I just take it inside to side. So it's starting to warm up, starting to connect with different body parts. As I'll always say, think about all the positions we're working. If you had weight, for example, how would some of these patterns of movement feel? And just noting if anywhere is a little bit tight, a little bit stiff, before we start to work any of those body parts harder. As we just take it back in. Next action, just going to stretch the legs behind. Of course, I can use my chair if I like for a little support. You'll see I'm just guiding or pointing those toes to the floor behind me, keeping the legs moving. Again, in no way am I out of breath or just really hard at this point, but I am starting to nicely warm up, loosen out, and moving to a point where I'm more prepared to work harder and into some more challenging exercises. And then we'll just take it back in, return to march. I want to check in with the shoulders again, just to open the arms to the sides. Just guide those arms forward in circles. Again, nice, controlled, nothing too hard, nothing too fast here. So I always like to keep a little bit of control with my arm circles. And relax the arms down. I'm going to set that position up in the same way, open the arms. Now I'll turn the palms of the hands up towards the ceiling. And again, I'll just guide those arms backwards now. So just in a different direction. And we change the positioning. Just nice controls. Going back. And return, just relax the arms down, bring it into a march. Okay, we have our Deborah there just looking after the admin. Delighted to hear the car is back, that's great. Car back in business. Now, let's open up through the hips. Lift the right knee up and across, and then do the same with the left. I always say the hips very much active in these sessions. I think it's always good to just check in, just see how they feel. Is there any kind of tightness around here? And often there is, so just check in. A little bit of movement, a nice big lift and a nice big step side to side. And of course you can have that chair in front if you need it in any way here. Big lift, big step. And back in. Okay, so we'll just finish out final action in our warm-up, and we'll just bring a little bit of arm movement in. So just want to open one arm in front, one arm to the side. And we'll just go last couple of times. And once more, and back in. So just want to keep the feet moving. Just going to move us into our circuit. So we have 7 movements. The first or the start of the circuit is very much like last week. I felt there was a high level of challenge there. It seemed like there was a good kind of on the right side of challenging. So we're just going to stick with the kind of format we had at the start of last week, just so we can build and see if we can do any better with those movements today. And then we'll have a couple of changes after that, so a couple of new movements, just to keep everything fresh. So you might notice some similar movements at the start, and then a couple of extra challenges in at the after that today. So let's move in. As I'll always say, any movement that causes pain, issue, step back to stop performing that exercise if it doesn't feel right. You can change any movement, seated instead of standing, but I will lead everything in standing. If you need to take weight away, just take the weight away. If you're unsure, you don't really know what to do for an adaptation, but you don't like the movement you're seeing, a very simple thing I will always say is add a brisk march in. So lift the knees, move the arms, and just keep your body really nice and active for the duration of the movement, and then you can join in on the next. So if in doubt, just get a nice march in for the movement. Well, let's begin. Right, so I'm going to have my chair front here. I want you to take hold of one weight. If your one weight feels really light, as I said last week, you can take hold of 2, but I think 1 should be sufficient here. The action. I want to place my left foot in front, right foot back. So left foot forward, right foot back, the purpose being working that right leg. I'm going to hold that weight in front, and in 3, 2, 1, I'll begin standing up and then fully back down to the seated position. So we do want to allow ourselves to sit fully down with this particular movement. By placing my left foot forward, I'm feeling that right leg working extra hard. And that's what we want for this one. If you find this position difficult, don't be afraid to take the weight away, or you might even simply work to a regular stance, a regular up-down. No need to place one foot in front of the other. Okay, so if we just continue on with that action, just checking in. Morning, no problem. I'll check to see if I can just, if we've cleaned it, see if that's any better. Hopefully that's a little bit better. And we'll just finish out. Sorry if that's a little bit blurred, the focus today. Just gave the camera a little clean there, just to see if that's any better. Could even just be condensation or something. I don't know, is that silly, but it could be that. Next movement, what I want you to do is, hopefully that's better, keep the weight in your right hand. Just hold the weight above your shoulder. Okay, elbow in front. It's not too tight. You can open it out a little. And I just want to begin walking up and down. So as I did last week, walking forward and back, just keeping hold of the weight. Now I'm thinking about my right shoulder with this one. So keeping hold of the weight. If this is difficult, drop the weight down to your side. But again, I'm using this as a good technique just to work on that shoulder. Okay. Okay, and again, sorry if the stream is a little grainy, just sometimes the internet, so you can just let us down a little bit. So as I do apologise if the stream isn't great. Hopefully it will settle during the workout. And down, okay? So we will return back to the seated position. What I want to do now is place my right foot forward. So right foot forward, left foot back. Holding on to the weight. And the purpose now is to work that left leg a little bit harder. So let's begin in 3, 2, 1. Stand up nice and tall. Return back to the seated position. Stand up tall. Back into seated position. So we'll just continue up and down. Trying to work that left leg a little bit harder. So by placing my right foot forward, I'm feeling my back left leg working harder. I keep that upper body straight. Just make sure we're not bending the body. Nice controls. Just make sure that chair isn't moving. You're controlling the action as you lower back into the seated position. If this is difficult, get rid of the weight, or you can go with a regular up down. No need to place one foot in front of the other. Go once more. And back down. Okay. Now, I want you to take the weight into your left hand, just above the shoulder. If this is difficult, drop the weight down to your side. Either version, I want you to walk forward and back. 3, 2, 1, and begin. It's just a nice brisk pace, up and down. Just bearing or holding on to that weight, just above the shoulder or down by your sides. Keeping that upper body strong as you hold on to the weight. Remembering you can drop that weight down by your side if you need to, if this is difficult. Last couple of times, and I should say, if your space is a little bit tight, you can just march on the spot for this one instead. And return. I want to take my second weight next. Okay. So take hold of your 2 weights. What I want to do is just soften the stance of my knees. So I'm not too straight here. I want to relax the knees a little bit. Bring the hips backwards and just draw that upper body forward. So a nice straight position. Elbows up. And I just want to push the weights behind. So we're going to work back of the arms. So you're extending the weight back from your elbows. Push the weights behind. You might notice that exhale as I press back. My back stays straight, really important. I don't start to bend. I keep the position straight and I just extend the weights back from my elbows. All with the purpose of feeling back of the arms here. Body, so the knees are soft, the hips have pushed back, and your upper body stays nice and straight as you push the weights back. So we'll just work the position about 10 seconds, the last couple of repetitions here, just pressing the weights back. And once more, and step the weight down. Okay, next movement, just a nice aerobic movement. What I want you to do is bring the arms in front. Okay? We'll lift the knees, alternate, and press the arms down. So like so, lift the knee, pressing the arms down. So we'll just continue from the front position. Press the arms down and a good lift of each knee. So I want you to maintain a nice, strong upper body position where you're not bending, you're not tilting back, anything like that. Just keeping it strong, pressing the arms down, and a good strong lift of each knee. Just swapping between the two. And you're working at a nice moderate pace. Not so hard or fast that I need to stop. Not so light that I don't feel anything. So good challenge. Just keeping this one active. Pressing the arms down. And a good strong lift of each knee. Okay, so we just continue on. About 10 seconds. And we'll time it down in 3, 2, 1. Okay, one final movement in the first round of this circuit. I want you to take hold of your 2 weights again. So for this movement, I want to just keep the feet moving. So just lightly march out. Take hold of your 2 weights. And we'll begin lifting in 2 different angles. So I'll lift up, down. Then I'll turn the palms forward. Lift up, down. Back into the side. Lift the weights up. Turn the palms forward. Lift the weights up again. So we're just working the 2 different positions. Bringing the weights up and down. Keeping the feet moving. And keeping all that tension through the arms. So ultimately, the 2 angles will work the arms. We're just going to come from a slightly different angle each time. Just for a little variety and challenge here. So we'll just finish out with this movement. That will be the first round of the circuit. I'll just put up a little banister behind me, just in case that light is causing any issue after this movement. And hopefully that might just help with any issues with the quality of the camera. Just continuing to march, keeping the feet moving. Lifting the weights up and down. And once more. And down. Okay, so I want you to take a breather, take a rest, sip of water. I'm just going to put up a banister behind me or a poster just to block out the light a little bit. Just to see if that can maybe improve the light a little bit. Again, take note, how hard was that circus? If there's anything there that was painful, not liking, take it back a step on the next one. If everything felt good, continuing as was. So I'll just put this poster up now. Now, see if we can block some of that light out. Might do a little bit, okay? So let's move back to round one. And you know, I'll just check in on the camera again. Just make sure that's nice. Okay. So hopefully that's a little bit better. And say apologies if the stream is a little bit funny. I want you to take hold of your weight again. Take it into the seated position. Okay. Place your left foot, your right foot back. So the workload will be on that back right leg. So left forward, right foot back. Hold the weight and let's begin. Standing up tall. Return to seated position. Stand up tall and back into seated position. So let's continue. Keeping that upper body straight, not bending. Just nice upright position, straight up and down. Holding on to that weight with my two hands and getting a really good connection through that right leg. So that back right leg really active with this movement. The left foot in front, really just there for a little support and maybe helping with balance of the movement as well. And there's no need to rush. We're going to get lots of repetitions performed. Nice and smooth, up nice and tall. And then hips down and back. So we'll just go the last couple of times. And we'll go once more if that feels comfortable. And down. Okay. We'll set up our next movement. Taking the weight into your right hand. Okay. So hold the weight in the right hand. Elbow doesn't need to be too tight. You can open it up a little bit. A bit more. And let's begin walking up and down. If this position is uncomfortable, I want you to set the weight down by your side. If the weight is comfortable, holding above the shoulder here. Okay, so I'm just keeping that weight above that right shoulder. Keeping the body nice and strong, that core switched on. But if this position is uncomfortable or too difficult, might even just get too tiring as I go, I will just rest the weight down by my side. And again, if there is still any issue with that, you can, of course, take the weight away. And I try and move at a nice moderate pace, not too fast, not too slow. If space is tight, I just want you to march on the spot. And I'll go one last time. And return. Over to the seated position. Bring that chair back in. Okay, so take hold of the weight in your two hands. Placing your right foot forward now and your left foot back. So right foot forward, left foot back, working that left leg harder. Weight in your two hands. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Standing up tall and return to seated position. And up tall and back into seated position. Okay, so again, changes we can make. We can take the weight out if there's too much. We can bring it back to a regular stance. If we find there's maybe too much work through that back left leg, you might like to bring it back to a regular stance. Keeping that upper body straight, so not bending as I stand. Hips down and back, fully into the seated position. We'll continue. One more time, straight up and return. Okay. We'll move into the next movement, taking the weight on your left side. Again, I place it just above the shoulder, not too tight, just relaxed, comfortable in the position, or down to your side if that's not a position that's feeling good, okay? And we'll begin in 3, 2, 1, up and down. Again, we're just loading one side. That shoulder is really active, so some endurance through that left shoulder. Keeping that upper body strong, areas like our core switched on here. And of course, weight down to the side if that's going to feel a lot better. Again, nice moderate pace, not too fast, not too slow. And of course, marching on the spot if space is a little bit tight. Let's take it once more, up and down. And down. Okay, so I want to take hold of my second weight here. Okay, so take 2 weights. Now we're going to work the back of the arms again. So I will soften the knees here and I will sit my hips back, and that just draws the upper body straight. You know, so I'm not bending, I'm still in a nice straight position. Bring the elbows up and I want you to just press the weights back. Just a nice smooth press. Think of the upper arm in a fixed position. You're just pressing the weights back from your elbows, pushing behind. Weights return in front and then pressing back. Just extending from the elbows. Key point, so you'll notice the arms don't swing like this. I want you to keep the upper arm fixed and just push back from the elbow on each side. A couple of times you might need to come out of the position. Find it's really tough. Don't be afraid, just reset. Soft knees, sit the hips back, upper body straight, and just extend back from the elbows. Might get a little bit tired in this one. It's okay if it does, just to take those little breaks in between. Nice smooth, press back, keeping that upper body straight, extending from the elbows. Once more, and set the weight down. Now into more of an aerobic movement here. What I want to do is just set the arms out in front, alternate lift of the knee. Okay, so I'll show you from different angles. Bring the arms out, begin in 3, 2, 1. Press the arms down, lift the knee. Start slow, get a feel. I'll always say with a movement like this, just ensure you're balanced, comfortable with the motion. No need to start too fast. Just keep it nice controlled. If you find maybe this gets really tough, you might just even drop and perform one side at a time, like so. But I'll get it back in sync so you can see that little bit of coordination just to get the 2 arms and alternately lift. Keeping the upper body strong. I don't want to bend or be kind of tilting back. I just want to keep the position strong throughout and continuing at a nice moderate pace. So you can hear as I talk, that sound of exertion. I'm working, active. I'm not resting or really relaxed here. But equally, I don't need to pause or stop. I can maintain this pace for the duration of the movement. The last couple of seconds. And down, okay? One more movement. I'm always introducing the next movement. Do please take a sip of water as required. Take a little breather as you need. Take and hold your 2 weights when ready. Starting off in a couple of seconds. Okay. For this one, we will march through the position or through the movement. Just keep the feet lightly moving. Take hold of your 2 weights. Elbows by my side. Lift the weights up. Back down. Turn the hands. Lift up. Back down. So each time you're lifting up towards your shoulders. Nice straight line. And just lightly keeping those feet moving. We're just working the 2 different angles, connecting with the arm with each position, and just overall in a nice straight line up and down. Showing a couple from the side, you'll see the elbow staying in a pretty much fixed position. So it's not swinging forward and back. It just stays in position as I lift weights towards shoulders. I'd exhale as I lift the weights up. Inhale as I return. Check in on that clock. Once more, each position. And then set the weight down. So we'll drop the weight down. That is 2 rounds of our circuit finished. Take a breather. Take a sip of water. Just trying to tighten these up. Again, ask yourself how that was. If that was very difficult, slow the pace down a touch. If everything feels comfortable, continue as is. And of course, if you need to just change any exercise, do a course. It doesn't even have to be that it's painful. Just if something feels a little bit uncomfortable, don't be afraid to change the movement. Otherwise, we will begin with our 3rd and final round. Okay, so back to the start, seated position. And if you take hold of a weight, we'll start in about 20 seconds. Okay, so take up your seated position. I want to place my left foot forward, right foot back. So left foot out in front, placing the work through that back right leg. Weight is in my 2 hands, just in front of my chest. And in 3, 2, 1, we begin. Final round. Up and down. I want you to keep the same good control throughout, particularly a movement like this, our sit-stand variation here. Naturally, we move into that 3rd round. We might start to speed up a bit. We're near the end. But let's just keep that same good control. Our body straight. Sit those hips down and back into the chair. Feeling lots of good work through that back right leg. Keeping those feet nice and flat to the floor. Back stays straight, just mindful that you're not bending as we come up. Might hear that exhale as I stand. Inhale as I lower. Nice controlled every time. That chair behind me isn't moving. I'm not crashing back into the chair. Really controlled. Once more. And back down. Okay. We'll move into the mat or walking next. Weight above the shoulder or down to your side. Make sure you have a nice clear pathway. Again, if space is a bit tight, you can of course just march on the spot. Just hold the weight comfortably above the shoulder. Just make sure the position feels natural, comfortable. If that feels very tight, I want you to set the weight down by your side instead. Let's begin. Up, down. Again, if we can move at a nice moderate pace, not too fast, not too slow. Just somewhere in between. So I always say, if I was on the phone to somebody, they'd say, what are you doing? They'd hear I'm moving and active. Feeling nice endurance, or that shoulder switched on. Might even find, particularly as we move into this third round, the actual grip, physical hold of the weight getting a little bit tougher now. So around that forearm, might feel a little bit tired. And we always know we have that option to set the weight down if we need. So we'll just work last couple of times, up, down, or marching on the spot. Last couple of seconds. Down once more. And set the weight down. I want to bring it back into the seated position. Of course, sip of water if you need. Okay, and we're going to set up the same way. Placing your right foot in front now. So right foot forward, left foot back. The work where the emphasis now swaps to that back left leg. Hold the weight in front. 3, 2, 1. We'll begin. Stand up nice and tall. Back into that seated position. Standing up tall. And back into the chair. Again, let's keep that same control. Naturally, might start to speed it up a bit here. We want to keep that same control. Upper body stays straight, not bending. Keeping that upper body straight. Feeling a good connection with my left leg. Holding the weight in front. Just careful that I'm not falling back into that chair too rapidly. Controlled descent into the chair. I hear that exhale as I stand. Inhale, refuel as I lower. We'll take that position once more. And back down. Okay. Set the position up. We're going to march with the weight on the left side. We're going to just clear halfway here. Again, I'll hold the weight above and I just make sure the positioning feels good, comfortable. And I can set that weight down to my side if I need. Okay. So let's begin. Weight above shoulder. 3, 2, 1, begin. Yeah, so just holding the weight. As I say, this is just a nice adaptation, one we've been including over this whole series. If you have any issues with raises, presses, some of those typical shoulder movements, it's nice to have these different options of how to maybe incorporate some strength and work into those shoulders. Really, we just think that endurance, we hold the position, feeling our grip. So as I say, around the forearm might feel very active as well. Just building up a little bit of strength in the position. And if that does get very tiring or it's not comfortable, set the weight down to your sides. So we'll just go up, down the last couple of times. And I'll just take that last time. And set the weight down. Okay. Of course, keep sipping on that water in between. I'm always introducing the next movement. Do take a rest as needed. If you need a longer break than I give you here, please do just take it. But when ready, I want you to take hold of your second weight. Let's go through the setup here. I want to just soften the knees. Okay. They're not too straight here. Just sit the hips back a little bit. So push the hips back and that draws my upper body forward, but nice and straight. Elbows up, push the weights back. Just extend the weights back from my elbows. Just careful again that I'm not swinging, that the full arm doesn't move. I just want to think of pushing from the elbows, think like skiing here. pushing back. Stand back, and I get a nice squeeze or a nice connection in the back of my upper arms. Just keep the knees soft, the hips sit back, upper body stays straight. Find it gets really tough, you might drop one arm at a time if you need to, like that. Or just finishing out if that feels okay. Nice smooth push or extension from the elbows. Once more. And set the weight down. Now again, sip water if you need. Just going to lightly keep the feet moving, and we'll set up into our next movement. This will be the arms out, press down, and alternately knee lift. Okay, so let's set up. Arms in front, upper body strong, lift the knee, and I'd always start slow. Even on the third round, just let the body adjust, make sure you're balanced, comfortable with the action, and then we can continue at a nice moderate pace. Press the arms down, lift the alternate knee. Again, just without, as I say, bending that position, just keeping it nice and strong, keeping areas like that core switched on. Good press down and a good big lift of each knee. And a nice moderate pace that you can sustain. So if I need to stop a couple of times, maybe I'm just working a little bit fast. Equally, if not really feeling much work, maybe just bring a little bit more power in. Let's say around that kind of moderate pace. Good lift, press down. We'll work in about 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand down. Final movement. Take hold of your two weights when you're ready. Yeah. Last movement, but it's exactly the same. If you were feeling breathless, needed to take a longer break, take that longer break. So, two weights. Want to keep the feet moving. March it out on the spot. We're going to work our two angles. Keep the elbows by your side. Lift the weights up, down, twist, up, down. So work the two different hand angles. Keeping a nice connection with the arms. Keeping that upper body straight. The reason I just mentioned that upper body, as you get tired, might start to lean back a little bit. Just think you want your arms to do all of the work here. You don't want anywhere else to start helping. So just make sure all the connection, all the work through my arms. Working the two different hands positions. Nice straight line up and down. Again, as we tire, angles might change a little bit. But overall, we just want to keep a nice smooth line up and down towards shoulder on each side. Okay, just going to work the positions once more. Up, down, hands by side, hands forward, up, down. And drop. Okay, set the weight down. 3 rounds of your circuit finished. I want you to start marching on the spot. Keep the body moving. Now is a good time to grab a sip of water if you like. And what we're going to do is just take a couple of minutes to cool down out of those 3 rounds of our circuit. So just keeping the feet moving, just doing a little recap as I like to. We worked the legs quite hard today, as we like to in every single session, always looking to work those legs. We focused in on each leg with our sit to stand variation. We worked with our shoulder, a little bit of grip as well, with our weighted walk, whichever variation we did. We worked the back of the arms. So again, that's always a popular one people like to work on, hopefully getting a nice connection back of the arm. Just checking in with that nice aerobic movement where we're lifting the knees and our press down. Again, just a really active movement. And then, of course, we worked the arms. And as I always do, just a little bit of variety with the 2 different hand positions, a little bit of extra challenge. So next, what I want to do is just start tapping the toes out to the sides. So we're just transitioning out of that harder phase. Just some light movement, and we'll take a couple of stretches here as well. Now, just curling the leg back one at a time. 2 would be impossible, but just curling the leg back, and just think heel towards bum, and maybe just a light pause, 1-2 seconds. And anyway, unbalanced or feel you need that chair, just take hold of it if you like. Okay. So I'm going to take a stretch of the hamstring, just return it back to a nice light march. You can use your chair for this one, or you can place hands on the hips. I'll just go with the chair today just to show you how I mean, and we might progress it up. So stretch your right leg out, heel down, toes up, and just sit the hips back. You can see how I'm straightening that right leg. Hold for a couple of seconds. And just take it back in, okay? Straighten the left leg out now, so heel down, toes up, and again, I just sit the hips back. So I straighten that back leg. Really important that upper body stays straight, that you don't find yourself bending here. It's more about sitting those hips back. And return, okay? Same again, straighten the right leg, heel down, toes up, sit the hips back. Hold. And back in. Again, straighten that left leg, heel down, toes up, and again, sit those hips back. You might even see that ledge behind me. I'm trying to keep my hips in line with that ledge. And back, once more. Each side, right leg, heel down, toes up, sit the hips back, straighten that right leg. A nice stretch. 3, 2, 1. Swap, left leg out, heel down, toes are up, and I sit my hips back, stretching the back of that leg. We'll go 3, 2, 1, and just walk it out. So we'll just move into the upper body. No problem. Thanks very much, Mario. I hope, sorry again if the stream was a little bit funny today. I say the internet drives me mad. Sometimes it lets us down a little bit, but we've had a good run recently. But hopefully that was okay. I really do appreciate any of the comments along the way. So thanks very much. I'm hopefully feeling good after the workout. Next movement, hands up. Just straighten the arms out. Okay, I'm going to pause the feet and then just pull back. I'm going to show you this from a couple of different angles. Push out in front, again, nice stretch, nice connection in the back of my body. Pull back, squeeze, squeezing shoulder blades together. Straighten out. Pull back. And once more, straighten the arms out. Nice stretch, back of the upper body. Pull back. Okay, relax the arms. Just make sure nothing in the way here. Open the arms. Take a light step forward and just pull back. Just think about opening up that front position. And nothing too harsh here. Just checking. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, main thing is you can hear it. Loud and clear, hopefully, anyway. And just once more. And back in. Always think just worth checking in with the shoulders. Again, just keep it really simple. Roll the shoulders back. I know I do this movement probably at the start and end of every single session, but I do think it's always great to just check in with the shoulders. We do like to work them during all these sessions. We do like to add weight, but we also just like to give them that little bit of attention at the start and at the end. Really simple, but very effective. Just slowly roll shoulders back. Change direction and just guide those shoulders forward. And just think about separating the shoulders from the rest of the body. So you're trying not to move the whole body. Just think of the shoulders as separate to the rest of the body. And that's all that really moves. Okay. Now into a little rotation. Hands together. Elbows up. Rotate to the right. Bring your head with the movement. And over to the left. Over to the right. And over to the left. And just continue to work those two positions. And I'll just take that in one last time. Just hold for a couple of seconds. And then over to the left. And down. Okay, I'm just going to finish out with a little bit of breathing. Really nice relaxing movement. And to inhale, open the arms. Slowly exhale, relax the arms down. I want your arms to feel really nice and light. Three more times. And once more. Okay, so that concludes our session for today. I will be back next Wednesday at 10 o'clock. So have a great week. Hopefully feeling good after the workout. And again, this is a collaboration between Siel, Bleu Ireland and the Irish Cancer Society. So hopefully see you again next week and enjoy the rest of your week.